Hello, everyone. It's my privilege to serve as one of the spotlight speakers for the virtual Brainstorm conference. My name is Phil Strunk. I'm a teacher from Clarke County, Virginia, where I teach 6th and 7th grade United States History 1 and 2. Let me be the 10,000th person to say that during this pandemic, we are living in unprecedented times. Our world was thrown for a loop, and now we're trying to put it back together again. We are craving normalcy. And today, what I'm hoping to do for you is provide you some encouragement as we continue this new path and this new journey within education. I'd like to begin this spotlight video by making a bold claim. I'm sure some of you may disagree with me about it, but some of you are going to put your hands in the air and go, "Yes, Phil, yes!" Some of you may be disgusted by my opinion. Others, you're going to praise it. My claim is simple, but it's one that I like to be upfront with when I talk to people because I think it helps them understand who I am more. I think it's absolutely essential in knowing me. My big, bold claim is that I love pizza. I love pizza with pepperoni. I love pizza with different kinds of cheese. I love pizza with basil. I do not love pizza with pineapple on it, though, because that just doesn't belong on pizza. I love fresh oven-baked pizza. I love wood-fired pizza. I love fast food pizza. And one of my favorite places to go get pizza is an international chain called Mod Pizza. I imagine my first time inside a Mod Pizza was much like Charlie and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Because you see, whenever you walk in, you're met with a wide variety of cheeses and a wide variety of toppings. And you get to pick what you want to put on your order. The staff takes you down the line and says, "What do you want on it?" Sure, they have some recipes up on the wall posted, but I like to embark on my own pizza journey while I'm there. I get red sauce with basil, and then I put some mozzarella cheese on top. But I don't stop there. I ask for some Asiago cheese, and if I'm feeling particularly dangerous, I ask for some blue cheese as well. When we get to toppings, I'm a simple man to please. Pepperoni, bacon, and onion. And then at the end, I ask for their pesto finishing sauce after it comes out of the oven. As I take that first bite into this pizza, I am so thankful that I got to pick what I wanted on my pizza while it was constructed. It's absolutely wonderful to me as I savor bite after bite. That being said, my wife is not so much a fan of my pizza. She puts garlic, arugula, mild sausage, bacon, olives on there with mozzarella and Asiago cheese. That pizza is fantastic for her, but in my wildest imagination, that's not the pizza that I would pick by any stretch of any sort of imagination. And you know what? That's okay. We can both go and get our preferred pizzas and enjoy them together. As we address how this applies to education, and as I considered what I wanted to speak about, I wanted to speak about something that nobody had heard about before in other keynotes. But considering the world we're living in, considering the amount of posts we see on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, I'm realizing that maybe like me, there are other educators out there who could use some encouragement and use this reminder. You don't have to copy and become a teacher that you're not. What students need right now is for you to be you. You don't have to be the Pinterest perfect teacher. You need to embrace what makes you uniquely you as an educator and what helps you reach and support your students' success. I've tried to replicate other teachers and copy and paste what they do into my own class. I've tried using their same mannerisms. I've tried using their same one-liners. I've tried attempting to replicate their lessons. And you know what? Just doesn't hit the same way. Students don't respond as well because they can smell a phony from a mile away. You don't have to put anchovies on your pizza because the person in front of you in the line did. Don't be something you aren't. Be authentic. Be yourself. It took me a while, but I like to think that I'm starting to come into my own. And while I borrow things from others, I've lost the pressure that I need to be that other teacher. And you can do that too. As you watch videos from other educators throughout this virtual conference, or learning from educators in general, they're going to express ideas to you. And these ideas work well for them, in their classrooms, with their kids and their circumstances. But you're likely not experiencing those same realities, because you have your own classroom, you have your own kids, and you have your own circumstances. What I'm not saying is to totally discount what you're going to see. Rather, I'm saying you don't have to Control C and Control V every single thing you watch. Find things that work for you. Take an idea and modify it to meet the needs of your students. Don't watch these videos with the mindset of, why haven't I been doing this before? Don't watch these videos with the mindset that you are not enough, because for your students, you are enough. Your students rely on you, not the teachers in the videos you're going to watch. They're subconsciously expecting you to be the gatekeeper of strategies to support and enhance their learning and to do what will make them most successful in their futures. The people who are presenting at this conference, who are trying to provide support to others, are sharing things because they have been successful for them, and there are certainly universal themes and concepts that can be extrapolated across schools, grades, content areas, and yes, classrooms as well. They're going to provide you with resources they have implemented that have worked incredibly well for them. Don't shame yourself for having never used them before. Use this time well. Use this time to explore those resources, to learn about strategies that may turn out to be highly effective for you and your students as well. Some of these ideas may work now for virtual learning. Some of these ideas may work well whenever we finally get back into our classrooms. And some of these are going to be a healthy combination of the two. Approach this with a confident growth mindset. Go into this learning with the understanding of your strengths and celebrate those strengths. Recognize the areas where you're knocking it out of the ballpark. Identify growth points, areas where you can improve in. But don't wallow in those areas and dig yourself into a deep pit of despair. Use other educators who are in the trenches in this war against ignorance, just like you, and learn from them to develop a battle plan as your students are pursuing knowledge and future success. Do this with a drive. Do this with a sense of purpose, not with a sense of defeat. I know that I'm constantly learning from others. I moderate a Twitter chat and participate in several others. I speak to educators at conferences and other places to learn from them, to grow together. The more minds we have working on cracking the problems in education, the more likely we are to make serious headway in resolving them. And that means we also need your mind. So in the midst of these times where we're told to wear masks in public, in the midst of these times where we are told to teach virtually, where a trip to the restaurant to sit down for a meal seems like a far, far event in the past, I want to make sure you don't lose sight of your worth. I want to make sure you don't lose sight of who you are. Remember, what do you like on your pizza? Make it your own. And if you like that your buddy puts bacon on the pizza, but the broccoli was one step too far, then forget the broccoli. If you want some extra cheese on it, do it. Eat the pizza that is good for you. Be the teacher that is good for your students. Now, all this being said, I want to leave us with a call to action. This is where we're going to do something a bit more interactive. Some of you may have already started writing down or taking notes of things you have learned from in this professional development experience. However, what I'm about to ask you to do is good both now and during the future for conferences. And truthfully, it's good anytime you want to intentionally reflect on your craft. I'd like for you to take out a piece of paper and divide it into 3 columns. We're going to do what I like to call, what my wife likes to call, a self-growth inventory, an SGI. And similar to a KWL chart, I'm hopeful this will impact us as educators preparing for a deeper dive and reflection as we go into each of these 3 columns. At the top of the first column, write an S, the second column, write a G, and the third column, not an I, write an R. Your first column, I want you to write about your strengths. Identify areas you know you are strong in as an educator. I know that I'm strong in content knowledge. I know that I'm strong in the use of certain ed tech tools. I know that I'm strong in direct instruction, and I know I'm strong in building relationships with students. Are any of these strengths your own? Or do you have different strengths? Are you a master whenever it comes to station learning? Do you manage student conflict well? Are your warm-ups unmatched by others? Do you provide incredibly robust performance assessments? Write down each strength that you can think of. And if you have to, pause the video. We get so obsessed in our line of work with our perceived weaknesses that we never really sit back and recognize the skills and talents that we've been blessed with. We take those things for granted, but rest assured, there's nothing to be taken for granted for here. Write those strengths down and put a smile on your face as maybe for the first time since this pandemic started, maybe for the first time in a while, maybe for the first time ever, you realize that you have strengths and they're important. In the second column, I want you to write a G. The G column is where you're going to write down your growth points. None of us know everything, and we all have areas that we'd like to improve in. The point in calling them growth points and not weaknesses is to shift our mindset. Instead of looking at others and then considering ourselves inferior to each other, we recognize that in learning from others, they are helpful checkpoints along our own personal journeys. I know that I would like to learn more with e-learning. I'd like to improve on my indirect instruction. I'd like to improve on how I give feedback. I'd like to learn about tools that other teachers have used to enhance student success and see if they can help my students. What are some areas that you're trying to grow in? Are you trying to improve in indirect instruction? Maybe looking for ideas for alternative assessments, trying to figure out how to better connect with other educators? Recognize those growth points and embrace learning about them with excitement instead of focusing on them as a perceived deficit. I have students who love to tell me everything they know, and then at the first challenge, they give up because they don't already know the answer to something. It's during this time that I remind them that, believe it or not, the reason why we go to school is to learn new things, not just to talk about everything we already know. Use this time to explore and to celebrate learning new things by targeting areas that will help you grow and improve as the educator your students need you to be. Then we move on to the third column, the R column. This is where I want you to keep a track of all of the resources that you find that help you in your growth points. These conferences are worthless unless they spur us to deeper action. And if we don't have resources and a foundation to act on, we've got a problem. What good is a pizza without the crust? Write down and keep track of all the resources that are going to help you here. Maybe there are links to presentations, maybe there's specific ideas or people to reach out to, maybe there's social media handles or emails. Keep track of these ideas so that you don't lose them. These things may be useful now. They may be useful in the new year, but they're useful to no one if they're forgotten. After you complete this chart, at the end of your conference experience, I'd like to encourage you to share it with others. Maybe you have a friend who's also attending this virtual conference. If you're on social media, take a picture and use the conference hashtag and tag me in it. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. P. Strunk. Because maybe your SGI is similar to others, and you can collaborate with others, and you can grow with others. What do you like on your pizza? How much sauce? What kind or kinds of cheese? Is your pizza for herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores? Do you like it thin and crispy or deep dish? Let me say it again. What do you like on your pizza? What works for your students? What resources do you have at your disposal? What are some free things you can easily implement at your school? What are some universal truths and research about students that you can apply to your room? How do you build relationships with students? What makes you the teacher that you are? It can be tempting to go online and feel the need to keep up with the Joneses, but you don't need to feel that pressure. You need to do what is best for you and your students. You can always learn more and apply more ideas into your classroom, but add your own personal twist on it so that it works for you too. During this conference, identify your strength areas. Identify your growth points and add to your arsenal as you record resources. If I had not done that with pizza, I wouldn't have known how much I like certain toppings on my pizzas. I'm not saying fill out an SGI whenever you go order pizza, but what I am saying to do is spend time learning from others. I don't copy the exact pizza of others. I make the pizza that's right for me. But sometimes you can, or you should, copy things from others. I, like many others, enjoy pepperoni on my pizza. But sometimes while I'm ordering in the line, I hear somebody putting in their pizza order. I think, hey, that sounds pretty good. And I copy their pizza order, and I love it. I, like many others, enjoy using TPT for resources and lesson ideas, and sometimes I certainly do copy those resources because they work for my students, and we really enjoy it. But what I don't do is feel the need to be the identical classroom teacher as the one that created those resources, setting my room up the same exact way every day. I have found what works for me and sometimes added my own twist on it to do what's best for my students. I hope this conference is rewarding for you. Like all learning, it's a journey, it's not a destination. We can always grow, we can always learn, but we can also offer ideas and teach others. As unique human beings, there are attributes in the essence of our souls as educators that make us who we are. Please don't lose sight of your value. You matter. You are important. You are enough. Learning is not like climbing out of a hole. It's like going down a pure running stream of water as opposed to being in a stagnant lake. It's like heating up the pizza in the oven instead of eating raw dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings. Let's be honest though. Sometimes we do feel down. We feel like we don't measure up. We have a self-defeating feeling of woe. We feel like we aren't enough. What I would like to ask you to do, if you ever feel down, if you ever find yourself counting your deficits compared to other teachers, please remember to ask yourself one simple question. What do you like on your pizza?